right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Nekomonogatari, episode 3. All right, so yeah, we had all the shenanigans with Hanekawa in her black cat form. Yes.
Because she is now, the oddity has revealed itself.
Yes.
Fully.
And Araragi has seen this now for the first time, and this is a big deal because the first encounter basically had him doing the thing that Oshino was like, you should be careful about
putting expectations
on others.
People.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And she violently reacted to that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Yep.
Whew,
but
right.
her parents that aren't really her parents are alive.
Thankfully.
Mm-hmm. But as for where this is going to move forward from now, because I feel like now where we're at, the only thing that we really have left from what we previously have known is the final confrontation that results in Shinobu draining the Hanekawa or the metal cat to make Hanekawa revert to herself.
Yeah. The big thing I think that could happen in between this is we have a Hanekawa Araragi conversation, maybe with her not in her her cat form, which might not be possible really at this point.
Right, because I think she's going to be stuck in this form until So
more Shinobu stuff possibly.
Sure. Maybe some talks with Oshino.
Yeah, maybe some talks with Oshino.
Yeah.
This does feel a lot like Kizu in a very interesting way, in that we're getting Araragi having to deal with the problem with someone that he cares about, but he's more trying to protect her in the best way that he can, and yet in some ways he's also partially to cause for some of this here, even though he's done a lot to help Hanekawa over the time they spent together. So,
well, and in both cases, there's a lot of self-hatred on, with the parties involved, with, Hanekawa and Metal Cat and all that, craziness that's happening.
Yeah.
And then with Shinobu and Kisu, in addition to, Araragi.
Yeah. All right. So, without further ado, y'all, let's get into this. All right, everyone, we're going to be starting the episode in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now. Oh, nice. All right. Oh.
Yeah, he's at her house.
Yep. Wow.
Oh. I feel like this song is something that Hanekawa just needs to just sit in a quiet room and just listen to this song.
Well, she's the singer.
Well, right. Yeah. No, I know. The voice actress is the singer, and a lot of this is from her perspective. But
right.
But
yeah. Yeah. Even put the guitar on her back. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I feel like if Hanekawa was able to maybe, I don't know, be open with herself enough to sing a song like this, that could help with a lot of the stress, so that it's not something that's bottled up inside.
The idea that Araragi's hand being extended out to her is the light in her darkness and what have you. And yet we get that image as well of where she's still super upset with Araragi. Yeah. Okay. This looks like an office. Nice. He's even being respectful to not wear his shoes inside the house. Those look like little cat heads.
Okay.
So he's afraid?
I guess.
Oh my god. Oh. He's scared for them too. But yeah, he's terrified. Oh.
Whoa.
Oh my god. Hold me, sister. Yeah. Ah!
Hmm.
Huh. Bake's next, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Looks at his
Aw.
phone. Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
Ah, yes.
Indeed, indeed. No, no. Ah! Brilliant,
Wow.
brilliant, Araragi. Yep.
Well done.
Brilliant, brilliant.
He's like, crisis averted.
Yep, yep. Well done, Araragi, well done. To release its stress of its master. She told you. Yo, yeah, I didn't even think about the privacy angle as well. Okay.
Oh,
sure. He's learning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Bro. Yeah, yeah.
He had a little visit.
Nothing much.
A broken arrow in his back.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Yeah. Oh my god. Wow. And he's alive.
Okay.
Huh? Mm-hmm.
Ah. I was really distracted. Okay.
Oh. Nice.
Yeah. Oh. Okay.
Here we go.
Gotcha. Huh.
That girl knows everything.
Gotcha.
Oh. Yeah. It meddles,
Huh.
but this is aggressive.
Really?
Or
Ah.
not too far deep either, just like
Sure.
right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is her stress. This is
Yeah.
oh. But that's the terrifying thing. Like
Wow.
yep. Oh my god. Oh my god, that shot was
Yeah.
was chilling.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, I got chills, y'all. Oh, okay. Oh. shoot. Bringing up the whole idea that
Wow.
he's kind of white knighted, Hanekawa into being this perfect being.
Mm-hmm.
But there is no such thing as black and white. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Shades of gray. Oh, yeah. There it is.
Okay.
Oh. Well, crap. No, we're definitely going to find that out then. Wow.
Huh.
Huh?
Clever.
Yeah, that was funny. That was funny. Wow. All right. She's not here again. Whoa. Ha! Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. His arm. The writing on the whiteboard. Is that so?
Yanni.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Uh.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but
Right, because she's never able to do that normally.
yeah. But that's the thing that oh oh
500 people.
oh oh Hanekawa can only save herself. No. This is one. Yeah. Oh. Ha! Us, the observer.
Mm-hmm. Wow. That's just what she's supposed to do.
Yeah. Whoa.
Oh, man.
Dang. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yep. That's a fair point. Mm-hmm.
Like a machine.
Oh, boy. Very cat-like.
Aloha shirt guy. That's what I'm calling him from now on, too.
Right.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Mm. Well, right, it's something that Hanekawa needs to solve.
But
Oh boy.
oh. Wow.
Okay.
What an encounter. Yeah, time to sit and breathe, buddy. Oh. Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
Wow. Hmm.
Hmm. Okay. Huh.
Oh. Wow.
All right. Well.
Yeah. I think we're basically getting like it thrown right at our faces at this point that the whole Hanekawa situation is basically like getting like this isn't a possession anymore. This is Hanekawa. Like this is
Right.
This is actually like the whole thing of
the metal cat is granting her the excuse or modus operandi,
or
whatever,
just the ability,
right, to basically bear that part of herself that she never allowed herself to bear before.
Yep, and release her stress by breaking the formula, going from being a machine to a,
yeah,
to a cat that just acts on the whim and just smashes the glasses, off the counter just because she wants to.
It's kind of funny because like I had never really thought before in like Bake why she's in her underwear. Yeah. But it's like, no. This is her taking off the facade, right?
Right. Yeah. Wow. Okay, what do we got here?
That would be problematic.
All right. Okay, that was a chilling episode.
Yeah, my brain's kind of still processing it because they had a lot of things happen that I kind of didn't expect to have happen, like as far as like character shifts and realizations and things like that. There's a lot here.
Yeah, the biggest thing I think we can get out of this is that they are pointing very dramatically towards the convergence of what we basically via Araragi have come to understand that's not truly like what makes like like Hanekawa, because
Right.
there's been so much facade built up with her via Araragi's like impressions and his expectations and some things that he's put on her, to the point where he sees her, or he has seen her so much only in this perfect light, to the point where he's basically having these moments where he's like, wait, you're and it's almost like he can't say it, like it keeps getting caught in his throat, that he's realizing that this is Hanekawa, like this is not just, and then they had the little myth story to tell of maybe the first metal cat sighting or aberration or what have you, but the idea that
maybe there is no cat.
There is no cat. It's just the idea that, she did a thing.
Yeah.
And that basically was what tapped into maybe the representation of her mental stress and her...
Well, yeah. I feel like that there is no cat kind of a thing might not be less necessarily as a literal thing,
right,
but more of a thing of the idea, not that there was no cat, but that there was no difference between the cat and the person. That
right.
Basically that was actually the person.
Yes.
Because Hanekawa, whether it's with her parents, whether it's at school, with Araragi, she has absolutely been having such a facade, being such a fake in a way that it almost feels like she doesn't even really know who she is. And then this here is her exploring that by doing all those things that basically she knows she's not supposed to do.
Yeah.
Right?
And she's enjoying it.
Yeah.
She's finding...
Because she's finally doing what she wants.
Meaning, maybe, even in that.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's crazy, because in some ways that's something that's so perfectly opposite of where she was at, via kind of like maybe the perspective of Araragi and stuff, that him being now in this place where he says like, wait, this is more than love now. This is like, this is agape. This is I want to, sacrifice myself for you. I want to put everything on the line for you. It is something to where maybe maybe because he has this whole thing of needing to save everyone and stuff, and to, he has no real value in terms of for himself. Like he views himself as very, very low in terms of the thing of this. But is that he's changed his perspective on Hanekawa, and thus it's still a thing of where he knows it has to be love, because his view of Hanekawa has changed so much. Or
let's go back through that.
Conversation,
because the thing is that it was because he was coming to the conclusion of, okay, yes, I love her, right?
Right.
But then
they have the whole licking the desk thing. Is there anything more important than that? He's like, no. But then they have the realization that there's, okay, we're not going to fight here. But, oh, yeah, you wouldn't kill me. Who knows?
Right.
And then, my energy drain is a character trait, not a skill. I can't control it. I could just kill you by mistake, even if I'm not trying to. And then he's like, yeah, it's a good thing that you bit off my arm and stuff like that, and decided not to use your, energy drain. Otherwise, I would have been dead. But she goes,
all the stuff about the aberrations, things like that. Right, and the idea that it's a distraction.
It's a stress reliever. Yeah.
Right. It's something where it's not even that like it's something that Hanekawa specifically wants to do, but it's just on the list of all the things that she would never allow herself to do, or even address that aspect of herself, maybe.
Sure, but in that respect, then it is something that she wants to do.
Potentially, yeah. Because since she's never been honest with herself about what she, or never allowed herself to want things and act upon those desires, then she maybe doesn't fully know what she wants, and then it's just this, it turns into this.
Now, here's the thing that's interesting. She's always talking about how this is a favor she's doing for her master, but then she basically says that
that it was just on a whim.
Yeah, but in truth, she basically says, that was a lie. Like that whole thing is a lie. I have no reason to feel thankful for them because Hanekawa had no sympathy, had no connection to all this. And this is kind of the big reveal here, is that regardless of cat or no cat, it's the idea that Hanekawa did this and basically just went through the motions and revealed her lack of humanity in a way. So maybe
or just how dead inside she is.
That's my point. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then Araragi's defending her and being like, no, the thing is that most people would just think about that. They wouldn't actually do this.
Which goes to show just how much Hanekawa sort of is a slave driver for herself to do the things that are supposed to be, good and right and all that, even if she doesn't actually care.
Right. And yet here's the thing that I find interesting is that in this whole conflict that Hanekawa has internally, the metal cat, or, this version of Hanekawa, is basically like unable to internally reflect. It's an external, it's not completely unable to, but
I love the thing.
I don't want to sue him for animal abuse.
Yeah, that was just great. Oh, that was wonderful.
Oh, that was funny.
But with what Araragi says after she leaves.
Right.
What Araragi says after she leaves.
She's like, if your goal is to relieve Hanekawa's stress, that's impossible. And she's like, why? It's like, because the source of Hanekawa's stress is her parents. Even if you were able to relieve all of her stress once she goes home, it'll just build up again. Which is right. That is a portion of the source of the stress.
But the stress is not the parents directly. It's how Hanekawa deals with the parents, because and I guess it's because getting stressed is normal, but it's the buildup of stress that's the problem, right?
Yeah, it's the fact that she doesn't have a healthy way to release her stress. So
exactly, and that's the situation of how she can save herself from this, even though that won't happen in this part.
Yeah, so and she's basically saying, okay, fine, then I'll just kill them. I'll fight domestic violence with domestic violence, which is that's if that is my master's wish. See, this is the thing that this is the thing that's interesting here is Oshino talks a very specific game previously, basically, in my opinion, playing the point of saying that the thing that we're dealing with here is not a metal cat, because a metal cat has all these traits. But what I was fighting was Hanekawa. This was that Hanekawa girl knows
as
everything.
A metal cat. Yeah.
Hanekawa in some ways maybe even masquerading as a metal cat.
Well, or the whole fusion thing that
the whole fusion thing of what would happen if these two became one.
Right.
But yeah, the class rep is no ordinary girl. The skills with which she attacks people is nothing like a normal aberration. And he's like, wait, are you telling me Hanekawa is actively attacking people? And then he brings up the whole idea of the consciousness.
Right.
And basically was saying that proves that the class rep is still inside there somewhere. And this is after he's come to the whole thing of saying that the little myth of the guy who does this thing for the first time, and then ends
up that there was no cat.
There was no cat. This is just the nature of humanity, and there are people that have problems that they need to deal with.
Right.
And we have the whole supernatural element as a
representation, a way to make manifest that those aspects of the characters.
Right. And yet this is a thing of where once they start talking about the class rep's consciousness still largely intact in there, they showcase all these frames of Hanekawa
which is
split.
Absolutely gorgeous shot.
It's so genius, because this is at this point, this information comes as both incredibly bad and slightly hopeful news. This is so chilling. All these images right here are Hanekawa.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Fractured, broken, split even. Like this is... And then he's like, what hope do we have? It's like, well, if she'd been completely taken over, there'd be no way out. I'd have to kill her.
Right.
But we have to salvage what remains of her consciousness while it's still there. But is that because of the metal cat? Or just the idea that these acts and this...
Yeah, I don't think that they're saying
posing, if you will,
right,
is what is further
because the oddities that happen, that's never because of, you know, of the oddity in and of itself. It's always some manifestation of the internal state of the character. So
right.
Hanekawa has been fractured for a very long time. It's a whole bag of cats in there, you know. And then this ends up happening, and it's a way to represent that, right? Mm-hmm. Also, I gotta say, the way they make it so that the image looks so much like the metal cat from far away, but then as you get in closer, because it's not like the images themselves are changing,
right?
But because you're getting closer, it starts to look nothing like the metal cat, when from far away it looks so much like the metal cat.
Right. So it's basically saying, like, the closer you get to Hanekawa, the more you realize that it's not the metal cat we're looking at. It's Hanekawa, but broken.
Well, another way you could look at it too is if you think about it, about the way that the eye works, you know, and the reason why it looks like the metal cat is because we fill in all the dots, right? We trace things together, right? We patch in the things that
subconsciously
that aren't really there, because pattern matching, right?
For sure.
We're not actually looking to see it as it truly is.
Whoa.
Once we get close enough to be able to do that, where we're only looking at, you know, a specific portion of it or whatever, it's completely unrecognizable, right, to what we were seeing originally.
Yeah, we can't even make the connection anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. Like this is kind of where one of the metal cat's eyes was, but even then, you know, it's yeah. But
it's just it's so good.
Yep.
Like, you can kind of see... Oh, wait, actually, that's a very good point. Hold on. The left eye... Is that Hanekawa? It's purple, I think.
Yeah,
so it's Hanekawa.
Pretty sure, yeah.
Okay.
I think it's like Hanekawa upside down.
Yeah, it's upside down, you're right.
So...
Then Oshino shares the... with the priest exorcising the cat, and then...
Yeah. But back at the end with the actual part where Araragi's by himself, and the metal cat's, you know, or Hanekawa's not there, and he's talking about it.
Right. So he mentions the conversation with Tsukihi.
Right.
Hey, this was the part where I was like this. She's like, staying out of this right answer for me, likely, and for my master. It's like, Cat, you're...
Farewell and live happy.
It's like he was about to figure it out, and then he comes and sits down here, and he goes, wow.
It's no good. I really do love Hanekawa.
I love her so much that I simply can't touch her. I wondered if I love her.
I felt I loved her. I love her. Yeah.
Yeah, it's now a thing of where...
But it's just as Tsukihi said, I love her so much that it's unbearable. But what I feel for her isn't love. This is much more than love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, far from wanting to be with her forever, I actually want to die for her sake.
Right.
So
that...
It brings up the whole thing.
That's a very big deal for Araragi. That one realizes that for himself, but then also that kind of that's actually where he's at,
right?
Because, in
a lot of ways, one of the problems we've kind of been not really sweeping under the rug, but just kind of forgetting about is just that Araragi has his own stuff he's dealing with, and when we see him at this state, at this state, we kind of realize where he needs to kind of rely on strength, kind of gather strength from others in order to push forward. And we saw a comical instance of that this episode, but it was also quite scary when he rushes out of Hanekawa's house and goes back to Tsukihi, and he's terrified. He's rambling. He's like, oh, that was scary. That was terrifying. That was horrible. And I also thought for a brief second he was like, oh, good, my sister is okay. Like, he was coming back to his house to make sure that, like...
Sure. Well, and
it
also
didn't
like
sense that it was intruding on his house. It was like, oh, fine, then
Right,
I'll intrude on your house, or
because it
something.
because it seemed at the beginning that he was getting scared because he detected that the metal cat was there,
Right.
and he was scared of the metal cat. But then he says that it was actually that what scared him was the fact that Hanekawa didn't even have a room there.
Yeah.
Right.
So he like broke through her mask in a way without asking her. He invaded the privacy.
Right.
Of
And he
Hanekawa.
finally sees just how bad it was.
Yeah.
That it's not the gauze, right? You know, it's not the fact that her dad hit her. That's an example of that basically shining through, right?
Right.
And then that's terrifying. So then he goes back to his own home where he realizes, yes, I have an amazing home. I have sisters that I love and care about and everything. And he hugs her, and he hugs Suki tight, right? And he says, and he does the whole thing of, I don't want them to get attacked. So I'm going to say that I'm terrified and I want them to stick by me, and I don't know if I can be at the house alone, which is brilliant as a way to keep them safe. But he also does it in a way so that he will then also be able to have them close. It's not just the fact that they're safe, that they're not leaving the house, but he also gets to have them close by and basically realize that, yes, I do have a family, a home, a place where I belong, something that Hanekawa doesn't have. And then so that was sweet. But then this whole bit here where I actually want to die for her sake,
like Araragi has a bit of a savior's complex, he needs to be the one to save people because in some ways it's his own projection of how much he needs to be saved. This is usually, I would say, the best example of where you find someone who knows what it's like to deal with their own stuff. So they're very understanding and very empathetic in general towards others in the way that they can, I'll do anything to help you, because in some ways it's almost like a subconscious cry for help. But
and you could also say that it's something where because maybe Araragi doesn't value himself very much, right?
Sure.
That's another reason why. It's the idea of I'm not valuable myself, right? It's kind of like it's the same kind of thing that happened in Kizu, which then makes sense because this is chronologically, the next thing after Kizu. But the whole thing of here's someone that I want to help. I feel like they deserve the help, and I want to help them in absolutely every way I can. But because I don't value myself, I don't think I actually can. Right. So I wish for a situation where by some one final act I could end my own, misery, self-hatred, whatever, but then also maybe in doing so make it so that my life ended up having meaning, because even if there wasn't meaning in myself, at least I was able to add meaning to someone else.
Yeah, and he comes to the realization that he does love Hanekawa, and he loves her so much so that he would die for her. And that's real love. Like that's real here. The thing is, though, is that he's been still wrestling with the whole idea of, well, what about her specifically is it that he loves? Because in some way, he might not know Hanekawa as Hanekawa truly is.
Yeah. Well, which
so,
they covered this episode. And
he's actually in a bit of a pickle here where he knows what he feels. He knows what's going on inside here. He basically has to repeat it to himself over and over in different ways to be 100% sure that this is the right thing, but he's able to keep doing it. So his whole thing of, but what I feel for her isn't love, and yet he has this little moment where he kind of looks off to the side. This is something I think is kind of interesting. I want to know what you think about this. He says, I love her so much that it's unbearable. I'm actually just going to play this part here. What I feel for her isn't love. Then he looks off to the side. It's almost as if he's got that little bit of self-awareness right there. Then there's a red scene, and then there's this hyper-stylized thing where it's all like, this is so much more than love.
Right.
And then you have the whole ththing of what she's dealing with the writing on the whiteboard here. Far from wanting to be here with her forever. I actually want to die for her sake. Now,
the way they did the distortion of Araragi, as he was saying, it's something much more than that, though.
Yeah.
Makes me, and I'm not sure if this is just like if basically I'm reading into this wrong, but if basically that when he's saying that it's something much more than that, it's actually something that is a negative.
Sure.
That it's not just that, because the thing is that the saying the "I want to die for someone's sake,"
Yeah.
that's one of the, like, I mean, what's bigger than that, right?
Yep.
But then at the same time, there's the idea that sometimes it's not necessarily the big things, sometimes it's the little things. It's those no big deal things that matter the most, right? And he has absolutely displayed for her time and time again that he absolutely, cares about her and loves her in that sense, even if he hasn't necessarily displayed it in the that he loves her in the way that Hanekawa wants him to, potentially, or he hasn't acted on that, or something along those lines. But
it's just, if anything, more that he's shown care for her. But what he's talking about here is he wasn't going to act and declare his feelings for her via just caring. He needed to be certain that he actually loved her. That's why he had the conversation with Tsukihi and basically, kind of resolving that whole thing there. And now it seems like what he's saying is that this is more than that. This is more than what we came to understand of what love is.
Right.
This is something. This is something costly.
Oh, okay. Here's I think this is the thing that's standing out to me. It's not that he says I would die for Hanekawa. Right. It's that he says I want to die for Hanekawa. That's the thing that, like, I actually want to die for her sake. Right? It's not that, like, and yeah, I get the idea of, like, if he could somehow basically make her life completely fine,
right,
for the cost of his own life, then that's something that he wishes he could do, which does maybe speak to how he's doing himself.
Yeah.
But there's this idea that I don't know, that maybe Araragi is, and this would make sense because he hasn't, the conversation in Bake with the medical cat hasn't happened yet, right? Uh-huh. Which is why it probably still ended up being a problem. But the idea that just having, those honest conversations with Hanekawa could be, way more, and have been, way more than some grand gesture of sacrifice, I feel like.
Sure. Yeah, this seems like more something where he's unlike Hanekawa, not just going through the motions and being a robot here and doing the thing that's the right thing or the impossible thing. This is something where it has the emotional value and stuff like that, but this is also a repetition. This is exactly what he did with Shinobu when she was basically bleeding out and stuff like that. He went to go die for her sake.
Right.
But the thing is that when he went to do that, there was no love. There was no.
If anything, it was pity.
If anything, if anything, I think it was more just the fact that he was, at that state where this was like the one thing that he could do. Here, he's grown a little bit.
But yet, he says, far from wanting to be with her forever.
Yeah.
I actually want to die for her, right? Because, the idea that he doesn't like the idea of being with her forever, right? That he says that he loves her, and in fact it's more than love, but he doesn't want to be with her forever, right? That's something that he doesn't see happening.
Yeah, he would rather go out
in a blaze of glory, kind of a thing,
to help her than actually stay with her forever.
Which is rough because that's exactly the kind of thing that maybe she would need, because she doesn't have a constant right now. She doesn't have a home. She doesn't have a place where she can say she belongs, right?
Right.
And Araragi has been a source of respite there, but it's not a constant thing, because she still has to go home and all this other stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, Araragi putting the expectations on her that, she's this perfect girl.
Right.
I love that at the end, Tsukihi and Karin are like on the floor. I'm not entirely, like, I get the feeling that's where basically that they just rolled off the bed somehow and didn't notice.
Yeah.
But there's a part of me that's like, I wouldn't be surprised maybe if Araragi like no he wouldn't have moved him off the bed. But
yeah, just the fact that they eventually end up on the floor is pretty funny.
And the part where they were hugging the tree. Oh man. That was great.
See, this is another thing I wanted to bring up. The idea that when he's thinking about expectations and stuff when they're asleep and stuff, says maybe I shouldn't have stuck my nose into her life back then. Hold on. Maybe I should have ignored her gaze. Hold on.
The gauze. Yeah.
The gauze. Yeah. But said, where is it? Dang it. There's a point where he says, like,
but wouldn't that have been just like wanting to have my cake and eat it too? Do you want to just press play?
Sure, yeah.
Like having only love, expectations, and admiration for her, despite receiving so much help from her over spring break.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one thing that's clear is that I knew absolutely nothing about her.
Exactly. Yep.
To claim that it was love was absurd.
Right.
So in the past, he confused it all for love,
right?
Because he was basically
he was
lust.
so infatuated
by her because she was this pretty girl that gave him her time, basically.
In some ways, you could say that it was still love, but it was that blind first love, right?
Yeah.
And now
no, it's not love though. That it's he basically is claiming it's absurd, as saying that because it's infatuation,
right? Because he has a better understanding of love,
right?
Now. And then later he's able to say, yes, I do love her, because he knows about all of he's seen the inner world,
picture.
Right? He has the full picture, and that's where you truly know that you love someone, when you know of their flaws and all of that stuff, and yet you love them anyway, right?
Right. Yeah. But then we have his own self-worth issues coming into play here, where he would not rather be with her forever, but actually try to save her by dying, which I find to be kind of interesting, because in some ways like this is something that the ED brings up, and I am pretty sure that this is going to be the twist that will bring it to be a thing where Shinobu will have to energy drain her. Is that in the ED there's a point where they say hold on, where is it? She says,
would it be allowed to oh no
there it is, I don't want to be saved.
Oh, yeah, and I don't want to be rewarded, so...
Yeah, yeah, exactly. This is nothing about where Araragi can actually do anything for this.
Oh,
this
boy.
is the full thing. This is the picture, is that Oshino is saying it, the Metal Cat is saying it. This is not something of Hanekawa being possessed and forced to do these kinds of things. Hanekawa is actively choosing this. I just want to scream so much I could break. Well, that was shown in the image to hear. I've always been wishing a bittersweet interference above the horizon I touched. The idea that Araragi is kind of that interference, distraction by just a hand being just reaching out. There's nothing that kind of saves her by a hand being reached out. She still has to reach back for it.
Sure.
But it's the idea that Araragi initiates from a standpoint of, I'm here. That's all he'd basically need to do.
Well, yeah. The funny thing is, I get what you're saying about the ED being Hanekawa singing it. Yeah. I could also see Araragi being the one singing it.
Well, sure. But we're in the immediate sense of what the arc is currently focused on. It's Hanekawa's thing about having this whole thing being here. But yeah, obviously Araragi's is a huge portion of it too.
Well, one of the things that I love about this arc in particular is how they're focusing that it's not just on the person that has the issue, right? But then it's also Araragi, right? And how he deals with that, how like what he's bringing to the table and how he responds to it and everything.
Right, but that's everyone so
right.
far.
No.
That's
I know.
every
No,
arc so
absolutely,
far. Yeah.
absolutely. But I feel like maybe it's just because that we're seeing him at this time, but we are getting more of that with this arc than in the other ones, or maybe it's
I
just
think
because
that's-
he has the most history with
Yeah.
Hanekawa. You know,
I think that's just because we've gone through so many now with him. We're now understanding him a little bit better. But I'd say Kizu is probably the only one that was a true Araragi focus with regards to him being one that, like, where it wasn't just him kind of doing what you said, like what he brings to the table, how he reacts to all of this, what kind of shows him there. Because this is definitely a thing of where, yes, we're getting more focus on him, but I think the reason why it's something that you get more perspective out of it this time is just because we have a bigger mountain of stuff prior to this.
Maybe, but I feel like Araragi is questioning things about himself that don't happen as much in other arcs. Like with the Car and B arc, right? He very much had his way of thinking that he brought into the situation, right? And in certain cases,
that was after this, so he'd done all the questioning, and maybe he'd done more questioning in the past.
Sure, yeah.
In terms of chronological stuff, that was the most recent.
Sure.
Know.
I mean, yeah, that's a great point. And because this is something that he's so unfamiliar with dealing with, because there's the whole Kizu situation, and it's like, okay, vampires, all that stuff, whatnot. But whereas here, this is where his previous preconceptions about people, not about the world with vampires and stuff like that, but with people, I feel like is starting to get broken down, and he's needing to rebuild it right from the ground up. And I love it when that happens, because that one will probably give extra context for the way he interacts with people in the stuff that we've already seen that's after this, but then also moving forward with other parts of the show.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Because anytime you can have a character get to the point where, not necessarily that they're low enough to question things, because that can be it too, but also just be in such unfamiliar territory, right? Where they have to really rethink things.
Yeah.
That can give you some great insight into the kind of person that they are.
Yeah. Because generally, like they said in this, there's no one who's perfectly honest or perfectly kind or what have you. They're the shades of gray, basically, within the person that are shown in those moments of, like you said, not necessarily weakness or a low point, but just uncertainty, just a point of where they're not solid. Right. So we get to see that here, and this is effectively our sequel prequel, of the whole Hanekawa, section of the story, which is interesting, because that means that when we go back and rewatch Bake 1. And that first conversation with them in the schoolroom, there's going to be all this extra meaning there.
Because 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 at the end of Kizu, there's this frustration of like, Araragi, how could you get to the point where you don't end up with Hanekawa, right? Like I understand, like, sort of why it didn't work from their perspective, or whatever, why him and Senjikahara make for a better couple, but this is where it's like, okay, no, I feel like I get the psychology behind how he interacts with Hanekawa in Bake, given that Kizu happened.
So here we are with the fourth episode coming up. And things are getting intense, y'all. So thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch any level support gets you access to our Discord, where you can chat with us about these stories, about anime in general. You can get involved with the community there, chat with them about anime and stuff. You can also participate in community events that are happening right now. They're really wacky and fun. You can also talk with Jacob about his book.
Yes, my sci-fi novel Battle Lines is still available for order on Amazon. The link is in the description below, so go check it out. It's a pretty fun book.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.